Good morning. It's Friday. Welcome to the Friday Grief Chat. I'm Jill.
I'm Deb, and
And
like our
Deb is still.
t-shirts say, we'll have to wear them someday. They were
We will.
great.
And Deb is not under her house this morning, but like
No,
many of you in the Midwest, it was a long and
it
scary night last
it
night.
was a long. The night before was long too, because alarms were going off. Our house here north of St. Joseph, Illinois, is okay. The next town, next larger town is Danville, Illinois. Parts of that, no power. To the west of us, North Champaign, lots of places don't have power. A lot of my friends don't have power. Daryl's bringing a recharge cord, whatever, you have one of them, and so
Yeah.
anyway, bring it over to our friend who has medical stuff, and his life alert went off the first time, and they said, "Are you okay?" So that was good. My daughter doesn't have any power. Several of my friends don't have any power, and three of us hid in a hall closet last night, and the only injury sustained in this house was getting our cat into the closet.
That
So
must have
we
been
got,
no
say again?
That must have been no fun.
You know, it is what it is.
Yep.
It's a cat. Oscar is a cat. So
Yes.
that was good. And then today, finally, the humidity left, which was depressing here for the
Yes.
last 4 days, I think. And I almost had to be late on the show today because I come into the sunroom here and there's a bird flying inside, a really cute little wren. I forget what kind. It's got a long beak, and one of the windows I opened didn't have a screen, and that's how he got in. So I had to coax him out the other, or her out the other one. So yeah, it's that's what it is.
We've had a long night. Our friend Cammie, who watches
Yes.
Face that, and my late aunt and uncle, great aunt and uncle's home in Streeter was destroyed last night. I'm so grateful they weren't here to see that. It lots and lots of destruction.
In Streeter, in Bartlett, and in other areas. I mean, like I said, I don't know when people are going to get power. And interesting enough, at least in Illinois that we've heard of, or luckily not heard of, any significant injuries or deaths. So we're like, oi.
You took it seriously. Yeah. It sounds like the people in it, the Illini, took it seriously and did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah. All of us here at University of Illinois area. Yeah. Although a lot of people got, my daughter was driving home in it. I said, can you stay at your aunt's house or something? She goes, we're going to power through. And she said she stopped for 30 minutes.
Because I watched the whole line of cars just parked on the freeway as this tornado was approaching. I was like, I would be driving across the grass and getting off the freeway and going to hide somewhere, not just sitting in my car waiting for it to come get me. Are you kidding me?
Well, I don't know where she stopped. That far, she didn't get in the conversation. And usually stopping at a gas station or like someplace that has a food mart, the bathrooms are the safest.
Yeah, you always want to be as interior as you could be and away from glass.
Yeah.
And away from walls that can be punctured.
Punctured. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I checked on a lot of our family and maybe they lost power for like 10 minutes, but other than that, they're good. A lot of people are okay. So,
Well, I'm glad
yeah.
for our Midwest listeners and watchers. We are thinking about you. We know it was a tough night. And if you haven't noticed what happened last night, just hop on YouTube and put tornadoes last night. You'll have lots of things to look at.
I
But
know.
I am so glad you are okay.
We are
I was trying
okay.
not to bug you, but I was like, yeah, you'll let us know if you've emerged.
Well, you saw I hopped onto
Yes,
Cammy's
yeah,
and
yeah.
I saw that you were on there and I'm like, oh, good. And
Mhm.
you've had a hard week just with everything, including your nephew's uh,
Funeral.
memorial service or funeral
Mhm.
service. That's
And that's what I wanted to, I've seen lots of clients this week, and there have been lots of recent losses amongst lots of people, and other clients who were sort of recognizing just how many losses have come through with the losses. And they were looking at primary losses, but not all the other losses that actually have an impact. And the overriding theme has been not allowing themselves grace and not asking people to give them the space for grace to be able to eventually name all the losses. It may take a while
mhm.
to be able to talk about them and process them, and also the ability to give people grace to laugh when they need to or do something completely different when they need to.
Exactly. And, I'm speaking about myself. Sometimes I can't ask for grace, but I'm so overwhelmed, and you can hear it in what I'm saying and whatever. I, a- when haven't I give grace? Well, that's a good question. Maybe I
Mhm.
haven't, and I need to pay more attention to it. So, um,
And it's hard, folks, it's hard to give grace to somebody who's in a loss when you are also coping with a loss.
yes,
It's
yes.
trying to make space for all of that, and it can be a challenge.
You know, um, one of the things I think Jill and I do well is give each other grace, state what we may or may not be able to do, what we like and what we cannot like, and what we don't like. I was laughing. I love to do objectives. Jill hates to do objectives.
Absolutely hates them.
I love looking all the stuff up. Please don't ask me to put it in order, MLA style. Jill loves doing
Let me
that.
do all the sites and I'll make the slides and make them pretty.
Yes, right. I'll take care of all the information. Thank you. And so we divvy things up. And I don't know if we talked about this part for our, it was a 6-hour talk, Jill. We were
It
talking
was
6 hours.
hours.
And it's an 8-hour presentation, but that has the breaks in it. So take off 2 hours, 6 hours. And I don't know if I said this last week, and people probably forget, you've had long haul COVID, you've had a stroke before, and sometimes your brain glitches. And you were reading very well from a slide, and you said, I just had a brain glitch. Deb, you read it better. And I'm thinking, how am I going to read it better than her? So
It
I
didn't even sound like the words were in order to me, and I had written the darn slide.
I know.
That happens with brain injuries
It
and
does.
long COVID.
And yes, exactly. So when she asked me to read it better, I said, read it better? And then I took on a British extraordinaire voice,
Right?
and that was perfect to just read the slide and to read it better. So anyway, it was perfect.
That was humor and grace
Yes.
because of a loss due to illness. Yes.
And because we had so many close losses
Right.
within, less than a month beforehand. One of the things is I went in because people have asked me since, how have you done? And I said, I sort of thought ahead. If I can only work at 75% and then bump it up at different parts, which I think I did, that,
Right.
I gave myself grace for not having the most ideal circumstance. Ideal circumstances, laser focus, just focus on that, sort of like my TEDx talk, right?
Right.
And I was as nervous as my TEDx talk. And then I said, it's going to be okay. I know from experience working with Jill, it's going to be okay. And I know you felt the same. And I think it was all
okay.
good.
Mhm.
We had a lot of people sign up. We had at least 25, or 20, whatever showed up. And we raised money. We did our job and we did it well.
And we got the point across. And that's an example to use with lots of folks. And it's something that I use with a few of my clients this week. Embrace is that you have to be able to take a step back sometimes and say, you know what, I need backup.
Mm-hmm.
And to also acknowledge that there is loss going on. Lots of times when younger therapists are facing a loss, they'll ask other therapists in chat groups that are private, what do I tell a client? I'm going to need to take time off. My mom is dying. My dad is dying.
Mm-hmm.
My son just died. What do I do? And lots of folks want that opacity of, you just say you need time away. And I counter with, I'm honest with my clients. If I'm out because there's a funeral, they know I'm out because there's a funeral.
Yes.
If I'm cutting my hours back because I'm taking care of someone, they're going to know that. I'm not going to process that with them, but I'm going to be honest about it so that they know I'm human. Yes. And so they can see me giving myself grace.
I think that's important, that we model what we hope for our clients and also for our talk. Jill and I model certain things, certain activities for the people we serve and educate in loss and grief and beyond, whatever the topic is. And the inverse is also true. As I had a therapy appointment yesterday, I go, everything that I have told my clients over the last 5-6 years of doing this is what I have to do for myself. Yes. And sometimes it takes me a moment to get there, I'm also an example of what a lot of stress does to the physical body. While Jill and I were traveling, I had like these little feelings in right up here on my left side going down my arms. So on this past Sunday, all of a sudden it got really intense at the end. I didn't tell you.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm
giving no grace for this.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, it went by fast. So it's funny. I go, why aren't you in the ER right now?
Yeah.
Right. So I said to myself, this is not good. And it's like I had to listen to another voice inside of my head that said, don't you think you should go to the ER, Deb?
Wouldn't you tell your best friend to go to the ER if they said that?
And ask my friends what I have said. So then I said to Daryl, who's not a nurse, I said, this has gotten really intense. I should go to the ER, right? It's like I need affirmation. And he's
Right.
like, now. And I said, okay. So I gave my leftovers to somebody that lives in our town. They took them home, Daryl. And so, Daryl and I have been apart for about 5.5 weeks, right? We got to spend 4.5 glorious hours while they took my blood and did all these heart tests and all this stuff. I am like nowhere near a heart attack. Afterwards, I'm going to call and schedule for a stress test. And so, but anyway, I'm like, they said, is there anything we can get for you? I said, discharge as soon as possible because the Tonys are on tonight. And, right. And some of those people didn't even know what the Tonys were. Oh. So anyway, I got home at 6:30 right before the Tonys, and all my heart enzymes and blood work, they gave me a potassium pill. And, everybody I've talked to, do you think that's like just the manifestation of the stress you've had? And now that everything is done, it came out, right? Yeah. So anyway, these are important things to talk about on a show like this, to say, number one, just because you're proficient in a subject doesn't mean it doesn't happen to you. That's number one. Number two, Jill and I have to take our own advice, and that sucks. And
it does.
And three, that's life. I wrote it this week. Someone on a nursing page said, and then I'll be quiet, but said, death is, and fill in the blank. And I go, death is part of life, not apart from life. And I hope people can integrate that at an outstanding speed, because I think this Western culture needs to integrate that more. So
the death denial needs to stop. I was meeting with a physician, not for my own care. He and I are collaborating on some things, and his entire specialty is now gerontology and dementia, which is totally my wheelhouse. And so we were talking about things, and he was describing someone he wants me to see. And I said, do they have all of their paperwork done? Did you do a pulse with them? And his eyes went bling. And I said, do you not do a pulse as a standard part of your care for someone who is diagnosed with dementia, so that they can have a say-so while they still have agency? And he said, well, I talk about it. I said, I asked them if they have advanced directives. I said, that is not the same, because advanced directives can be voted on. A pulse has your signature, and it actually is the patient's voice for what they want for when they lose their voice, and your signature backs that up. And so if we're going to work together, we need that understanding, so that you can actually start those conversations with them, and then I can come in and do the rest of it. And he said, I hadn't thought of it that way. I said, well, we need to start talking about the fact that you are actually talking about them having an illness that is going to be terminal, and we need to start talking to the family about it and start preparing them for those things, so they're not caught up short. And so that it's in writing. So when my nephew, I met with him and his wife about 3 weeks before he died, and we talked about what needed to get done and all the things about what hospice would mean and all of that. And he's seen it before, but not related to him, not at his age. And he texted me later and he said, thank you. I needed to hear what would be happening and where I'd be going. And so if we could have that and give people grace to say, wait, I just need to absorb this, but then come in with the information so that they have something to work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. It's sort of like the way I approach a new client in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
First, I figure out where they are physically. Because, some of the signs and symptoms of grief may or may not have anything to do with the way they're feeling right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or, have its etiology inside their body. It might not have to do with grief. And, well, I was just saying, stress can cause other things, other problems with the body. So
it
I
can
want
cause
them.
your arm to tingle and tell you that you're too stressed out.
Yeah. And I'm sure I'm imitating a lot of people right now by saying that. By looking like that.
Yeah.
And so, it's just so important to take care of the physical body and the physical notes, meaning, do I want to be resuscitated? And please put that on your refrigerator or the closest part to the door in case an EMT comes in.
Right. And
It's
tell your
right
doctor,
there.
put it in your medical chart.
Yes.
Talk about it with your family. Give your family the grace to be able to know what you want.
Right.
We had somebody that called in and they were like, well, I know they know what they want, but our parents won't tell us what they want. They said they'll tell us when the time comes. That's not how it works. When the time comes, it's too late.
When the time comes, who's talking?
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah, you need to have the conversations.
This past week, 2 people with that are caretaking others with dementia, I actually said that needs to be filled out now while they have the least amount of capability, at least a little capability, because they're further along and they kept changing their mind, and it has to be posted.
Yeah.
So
with dementia and with so many other illnesses, at some point you lose the voice. And so your voice needs to be in writing. And you need to give those around you, whoever they are, some way to access that. And if you live alone and you don't have people, then find somebody that you want to be able to speak up for you and make sure they've heard you say it out loud.
Right. And make sure that person is written down as medical power of attorney.
Right.
And then that got proven a lot with Michael, all the time he couldn't speak up, or the doctors would assume that a grunt was an okay, and it is not okay. And that's how you advocate for people. Don't assume, well, yeah, isn't okay.
And if you have not made final arrangements, which is key, that's code for planned your burial or cremation or water cremation or interment in a green burial site or decomposition and compost. There's so many options these days.
I know, body farm.
A whole plethora. And so do you want to donate your body to science? What do you want to do? Nobody's going to know. And you're not going to know what's involved unless you have the conversation, which means giving those around you the grace to have that conversation.
And at least telling one other person close to you. You know, Jeannie had Ellen and I to say some harder things with, and then the rest of her family, they knew some things.
Right.
And, I've been way off the charts busy for the last 6 months, but I'm going to have a Pulse party dinner with a friend, and I'm going to print out Pulse and make sure that we all have them, make copies, and give to people. And bring them to our doctors because they got to be signed. Yeah.
When I worked for hospice in Florida, which I dearly love doing, we did a lot of community outreach because we were fully nonprofit. So we could afford to send people out into the community to actually do the things hospices are supposed to do. And we had a nurse educator named Marie who went all over the place with this plastic set of hamburger parts. Like it had the buns, the cheese, the lettuce, all of it. And then she would set up hamburger luncheons. And while folks were eating them, she would describe advanced directives and final arrangements, decisions, and conversations to have with each layer. So here's the base of it. Here's the and part represented a part of it. And folks are eating their burgers and listening to her talk. And by the time they left, they wanted the documents to go home and talk about, and they had the words to use. It was delightful.
That is a great metaphor.
Yeah, she was really good at it. Pizza doesn't work as well. It's just kind of a messy melange, but a hamburger is layered.
Hamburgers got parts.
Right.
Even a Chicago dog's got parts.
It's got parts. It's got layers.
It got layer.
Right. Yeah. That's what it should be. That's how it should be done. And we've got funeral homes here that working with doing these kinds of things, but they're not using layer stuff. And I think layers work better. Gives more words.
Give them, yes. Oh, I love that. What time? Oh, we only have a few more minutes. I don't have it in here. This month, I think Tammy Isaac is with us in June.
Yay. She's speaking to the chaplains conference this week.
Yeah.
You've got a magic book. We are going to have a whole bunch of folks visiting us.
We are, and I'm gonna. There's like 3 more people I need to call that or contact. So hopefully one will be in Istanbul, and another one works at Portland Institute of Grief, I think, and that is Sarah. And so there's Sarah.
We have Kathleen coming during
Kathleen.
October to talk about maternal loss.
Oh, yeah. We have, when I got home, a friend said, "Hey, did you hear about these help texts and their grief?" And I said, "We're having them on our program."
Yes, we are.
Yes,
we are. They were at the conference. We met them. They were incredible.
Yeah. I also want to have, I didn't contact him yet, Brent. His wife is an artist, and he talks about twin grief, and we haven't had that yet.
And that's important.
Yeah, and I think there's a bunch of questions I want to ask him about, and so I think that'll be very interesting. So,
I think during November, we should have Stephen on to talk about military loss after the military for those who have, because we have a lot of things going on with military vets who have died or are dying of related diseases.
And Steve, as in our Steve?
Our Steve, yeah.
Yeah, Steve, if you're listening, November
for Veterans Month.
Yeah, I think that's great. All right.
So So I hope everyone has a great weekend. Please be safe if you see tornadoes coming. Goodness gracious, we've had enough of this nonsense. And if you're in the Southwest like me, stay in the air conditioning. We are under a heat watch from the dark side. They keep telling us we're El Nino this year, but El Nino has not shown up. El Hato has shown up, and we are in the heat with like jalapenos falling from the sky. And if you go, it is hot.
It is. So,
yes, and Walter does not like it. And everyone, this is Lila's coworker. This is who you see on my Facebook page. He goes to work with me every day.
He's a sweetie.
He's really not, but he looks like it. If you get him cleaned up, they can look sweet. All right. I will see you next week. Please take some rest time, Deb.
Yeah.
Everyone send Deb a reminder. Rest. Send her rest messages.
Rest is also in the form of taking 2 younger grandkids to freebie movies.
That's awesome. Have a great time.
I did. I had a wonderful time.
Okay, good. All right. And Steve says yes for November, so let's get him scheduled. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.